camaraderie. And it seems like a lot of times nostalgia can be a bond. You can bond with someone who's from a different culture or a different background. Yes, I love that TV show, or that's a cool shirt. But then there's this other side of nostalgia that you had to be there. It's kind of exclusive and keeping people out. What do you guys think about that? Is there snobbery in collecting and in nostalgia?
Is there?
I mean, what I see now is people who have been collecting for, I don't know, people who were digging stuff out of the trash and at the studios or something. They got in on the ground floor, as it were, and collecting different kinds of animation or comics or something. And now that everything is a little bit easier to access, now that you can come to WonderCon and meet some of these artists, maybe they don't have to, collectors today, or younger collectors don't have to go through the same trials and tribulations. Is there this kind of different school of collector, or has collecting changed?
Well, I actually want to ask this to Bob, because he brought in this book. He was working at Disney when the first training program started at Disney, so it's been a while, and he started collecting his drawings from Ollie Johnson's and Elliot Nagelman's, and and he started doing this stuff on his own. It's like, oh, it would be cool to have a drawing from you, and I have a drawing. And it's a sense of collecting, but the things that people did not do at that time, they did not take the time or did not think that this would become cool. I mean, these are artists that are on their own right. They're not just making the Disney movie. They're individual people. Now we have an understanding. You have these new Romanos around that are doing wonderful work, and you just feel over his, bloody and Mary Blair's kind of design style, but it's all kind of connected, and then it all started with somebody saying, these guys doing wonderful work, and then you have all the wonderful work that was done by Warner Brothers that just was thrown out, and you have Chuck Jones, and you're like, what are you guys doing?
I gotta say, I think when guys were doing that stuff back then, they didn't consider it wonderful. It was just work. And the thing that's changed with collectors is, I think people collect today because it might be worth something, or it is worth something. And back in the day, when you collected stuff, you collected it because they liked it. So I don't know where one ends and the other kicks in. But I find myself in a situation where I collected stuff that I liked, and now it's worth a bunch of money, so I wish I had two.
Because a real collector can't sell the stuff. Yeah. You sell off and do.
Yeah, sell your kids first, right?
I mean, that's one of the things that I started collecting, and I know it was not any fun. So this huge collection says, and his wife said, we got to do something about this. He started selling stuff and dealing with it. And he's got a wonderful collection of artwork. I mean, every time I walk in there, I just go out and find. They're like, oh, I like that, I like that. Like, I can't carry it all home.
But if he was a true collector, he would give it to you.
Okay, then let's talk to him. Let's go down there and come on.
Well, no, a true collector wouldn't. He might trick.
Okay, then let's go talk to him.
You both also mentioned the internet, eBay. The internet seems to have created this huge collection of archive now. Whereas before, we could only find Little Nemo maybe on microfiche in a library somewhere that we had to go across town or connect to another library, that it wasn't easy to access. And now, we can find these animation or film or comics that is all now available online. Does that change collecting? Does that change how people get? Is there more people in
People
collecting?
pour a lot faster.
Does that bring people like to?
No, I'm laughing because it's true.
Does that bring people to Little Nemo that maybe have never heard of it before?
Yeah, and I think that it's true of a lot of the reprints that are happening now. It brings it to people that haven't had a chance because they weren't there when the material came out. And that's, again, this interesting crossover with nostalgia and art. It brings to mind what happened to Europeans when I first started getting started in reprint work. There was a group, and one of the guys is here, Tony Raioli, that sells old newspaper reprints. And there was a club in Italy, these guys who had loved the comics as kids, but all of a sudden during the war, I guess it was in 1939, all their great favorites, Flash Gordon and King of the Royal Mountain and Tim Tyler, all these things just stopped because Mussolini said no more American comics except for Mickey Mouse and see that. So these guys grew up and had this club and decided they were going to get these comic strips that they missed when they were kids, and they were going to find them and reprint them and pass them around, which is what they did. And what happened was, as a result of what these guys were collecting, a lot of other, and reprinting, a new generation would see this stuff that had never experienced old American comic strips before. And this was in the 1970s, and there still wasn't serious appreciation of it here. And they realized, hey, this is as good or better than the stuff we're getting now. In fact, there's a lot of stuff I'm seeing in Flash Gordon that all of these current comic book stars are using. So for the people who started using reprints, a great deal of it was nostalgia. And for the people who saw it for the first time, it was just great artwork.
Well, I'll open it up to the audience if anybody has questions.
There's an idea that Alan